Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you can hear me. This is Linda Westfall, and we will be talking about the pandemic electronic benefit transfer for Idaho schools today. This is strictly a PEBT webinar. We will not be talking about any of the waivers. We're still waiting for guidance from USDA on those. Okay, so next, we have an agenda today. We will introduce the team. We will give you the definition of PEBT. We will talk about eligibility for your students and schools, the PEBT benefits, responsibilities of our office and of SFAs, and we will have questions and answers at the end. So next slide. PEBT team is Colleen, the Director of Child Nutrition Programs. We've got Linda, Heath, Kat, and Sean are currently the PEBT team at our office. So next. What is PEBT? This is what the benefits are tied to the learning model at the school. So the majority of the students at the school building determine the predominant learning model. I'm not going to read everything on the slide. So this is to help children who would have received free or reduced price meals under the School Lunch Act if their schools were not closed or operating with reduced hours or attendance. So a child's eligible for PEBT if two conditions are met. They're directly certified in 2020 or 2021. They have an application through May 1st of 2021. From the start of the school year, so it's for 2020, 2021, or all children enrolled in a community eligibility provision school or school operating under Provision 2 breakfast and lunch, and the school has been closed or reduced operating for at least 5 consecutive days in the current school year. So once the 5-day minimum is met, children are eligible to receive PEBT throughout the entire year. So even if the school closes for 1 day, the children are eligible for that benefit for the 1 day. Next slide. So during COVID, 90% of SFAs are serving free meals, so you haven't received an application. So USDA is allowing applications to be taken anytime up to about May 1st to submit an application, and for this year only, go back to the beginning of the school year and qualify them for the entire school year. All the free and reduced requirements are still in place. So if an application's incomplete, it can't be approved. And if it looks suspicious, it must be verified for cause. Next slide. So the school is considered closed if they delayed start or they closed or the school is operating with reduced attendance or hours. So reduced attendance or hours could be considered 1 day off a week, but they've been in session Monday through Thursday and Friday is virtual. That counts as reduced attendance hours for COVID. What does not count is if you got a snow day or the Thanksgiving or holiday breaks. So there have been some schools that closed on Thursday, Friday, and Monday, Tuesday, right before Thanksgiving. Well, that's only 4 days, so they don't meet the 5-day consecutive. So the period of closure or reduced attendance must meet the current 5 consecutive day threshold, and it does not change with a 4-day school week. Next slide. So students may have different benefit amounts, and that is in a school, district, or throughout the state. Each student is going to get a PEBT card, and each PEBT card in a family, it is possible to get 3 different dollar amounts. So benefits are unique to the school learning model at the school building. So like I said, a family with more than one child could potentially have different dollar amounts put on each child PEBT card. And each student must be eligible. So an example, one district where upper grade schools were mostly virtual in 2021, and the elementary schools had grades coming in gradually. Once they reached 50% or more of their students being in session in the building, even if some of the students were virtual, the benefits stopped because of the predominant learning model. So this is a true example of one district and the different amounts the children will get by school at this district. Next slide. So an elementary student at Hubbard would get 9207, and a high school student would get 542.19. This is important to know because a parent might call you to find out why there are different amounts, and you should be able to answer these questions. There are wildly varying amounts at SFAs. Some SFAs get the same for all of their schools, and some, like this example, get way different amounts. Okay, next slide is an example of the predominant learning model. So we're using the midterm reporting of enrollment schools report from the finance department to get the number of students by grade. So K1 came back on 9/8, so 80 children are in the school, 250 are virtual learning, and that's not the predominant group. Second graders came back 10/1, which added another 50, so there's 130 in the school, 200 virtual, still not predominant. But third grade came back, which added another 50 to the school, so 180 were in the school and 150 were virtual learning. We'll stop right there. 180 are in the school learning, and that's more than half of the enrollment of 165. This means that the 4th to 6th graders will have their benefits stopped, even though they were still virtual learning. That's how the predominant learning model is calculated. Next slide. So determining PEBT benefits, we have a virtual school. We've added this infographic to inform schools and parents how PEBT works if they're attached to a brick and mortar school. It will be on the PEBT webpage when that webpage is made live. So if a child is virtual, and it's not attached to a brick and mortar school, they will not get PEBT benefits. If they're remote learning through their brick and mortar school, they would get PEBT benefits. And if they're dually enrolled, they get benefits based on how many children are in the school. Next slide. So the software is currently estimated to be available for uploads somewhere around May 14th, and you will be doing uploads about May 14th to June 4th. Doesn't get us a lot of time to double check the data entered, and I am just guessing that we may do this daily as lists are uploaded. We have a small window of time to get it to DHW and do so correctly by the June 7th date to disperse payments in July. Next slide. The superintendent's office will contract for a call center support that will field common questions from households of children that are eligible and potentially eligible to participate in PEBT. They'll ensure that all children who are eligible are able to receive the benefits, and then they're going to refer disputes to the schools who will answer eligibility questions. There will be a new document on our webpage that lists all of the ineligible schools so you and parents can check their schools. And notice, disputes are being referred to schools. You'll have to answer why a child did not receive a card, and you'll need to know this information. We will have returned mail come to us, which I will get to later on. We hope that you're advertising that addresses should be updated so that parents can get their PEBT card. Next slide. The Idaho SDE has developed a PEBT website. It will go live in a little bit as soon as we get spending authority. And we've been working with some outside groups and internal groups to help disseminate the information to your liaisons or hunger advocacy groups. Next slide. We're also developing flyers, school kits, sample letters to utilize for families. What's highlighted on the screen are schools ineligible for PEBT. So the importance of accurate data. We'll keep stressing this. If your school is eligible and the address of a family is incorrect, the parent will have a delay in receiving their PEBT card. It may take months to get this corrected, and I will repeat this. It may take months to get this corrected. Ensure parents know the importance of correct addresses so the mail is not returned and destroyed. So a letter can go out from DHW to the family, and if it gets returned, it'll get returned to the superintendent of public instruction's office. But if a card goes out and gets returned to the vendor, what they do is destroy it. Direct parents to the FAQ portion of the website when it's live. That one will help because there are frequently asked questions up there. School parents can see what the answers to a lot of their questions are. We have a parent guide to PEBT and a list of schools that do not qualify for any benefit. So you may want to send out information to families of these schools that their children have been in session all year, so they may not or should not be expecting a benefit. There are a few rare cases where in a school district, some schools do qualify for a benefit and other schools do not qualify for a benefit. So you need to be aware of that as well. Next slide. Now we're going to get into school responsibilities. Last time we had a student with a no contact order for a parent who got the parent got the card. Schools will have to resolve these issues. Families always have the option to decline the benefit, and the child's custodian. Make sure the primary parent is accurate in your database to ensure the address where the card is going. So the card is in the child's name, getting sent to the primary parent's address. If there is a joint custody situation, what will happen is the child will get the card and the parents will have to determine between them how to divide up the benefits, because there's no way to issue two cards in one child's name. The parents will have to decide how to manage the benefits. Next slide. This one is really important. Foster and homeless children should have an address change to a designated location at the school food authority. So we know foster children sometimes switch foster homes. If the foster liaison at the school food authority knows the child's moving, they can handle the card and get it to the correct person. Last time we had foster moms and dads get the card and the child had left the house. The same with homeless children. They have transient housing, so if they know they can pick it up at the school when the cards are released, that might alleviate some stress from them. A second set of eyes on the spreadsheet prior to uploading will ensure the benefits will be issued correctly and on time. And once you upload the spreadsheet into the system and it's accepted, it cannot be deleted. And try only to upload the free and reduced eligible children at the schools, not the entire enrollment at the SFA. It will make it easier. We do think the software developed can filter that out, but it would be easier on your end if you only uploaded the free and reduced eligible children at the schools. Now, that's not to say CEP and provision schools should be all the children. Next slide. So all fields, we have an Excel upload. So what I want to call khaki green, those are required fields, and we tried to make them the exact same field name as the IC reports. There are only 4 that are not required, which are child's middle name, their gender, the second address, and the parent guardian date of birth. We do require a parent guardian name because that's where it's going to get mailed to. All other fields required are highlighted in the khaki green. Teal green on our sheet is not required. Make sure you have all the fields properly populated. So zip codes are 5 digits, date of birth is month, day, year, and make sure you have a second review of data. Date of birth is especially important because that's how the PEBT card will be what they call pinned. They have to put the child's date of birth in order to issue the card a 4-digit PIN number. An incorrect date of birth will make it difficult to activate the card. Next slide. So children reported in foster care who are homeless should have the PEBT card sent to the district office to avoid delays. So we're asking that you talk to your district homeless liaison or foster care liaison to ensure that they get the cards when they are issued. Change the address to be the school's address, and do not leave an address blank because that means your file will not be accepted when you do an upload. So we've talked to the the SDE leads in these programs, and they've also worked with their contacts at the SFAs for foster and homeless, and they know that these are coming. So next slide. Now we're going to get down to some questions that we've heard. How many students are estimated to be eligible? 71,110. Very specific number. It's probably more than that because you're getting free and reduced applications. Who will pay for mailers and staff? The SDE has requested admin funds per school to help defray costs. However, we're waiting for USDA approval. We're estimating, based on the 71,110, that $25 million will go out to families using March free and reduced data, but it may change based on the applications you receive. Next slide. When will the website be available? The superintendent's office is waiting for spending authority to make the site live. It will be shown on our CNP website as a button up there. Next. And this is what it will look like when it is visible to the public. It will have frequently asked questions and the files that we showed earlier. It also has a button that says check to see if you qualify for PEBT. This is to be used by families. It is a quick little 7-question survey that says, have my children been in school all year? Have they been remote or virtual learning? And it guides them through it. And then at the end, it says you may be eligible, you should be eligible, or you're not eligible. Next slide. So again, I will stress, not all children in Idaho qualify. It depends on the school's predominant learning model and the child's free and reduced status for 2021. Encourage families to update their addresses and let the parents know if the school has been determined as ineligible, so they're not waiting for a PEBT card. As soon as spending authority is granted, we will send out an email to those schools who do not qualify and other emails to schools that do qualify stating how much benefit each student at a school will receive. That is how we've calculated benefits. So we've calculated by month. Whoa, go next slide, Jamie. We've calculated by month. So in this example, a student at this school enrolled November 2020 to June 2021 would not receive a benefit because this school that's highlighted only got a benefit for September. But if they enrolled from August 2020 to December 2020, they'd qualify for the $92.07 per month benefit. That's why enrollment dates are very important, because some children enrolled or left school, and we will calculate by month. That brings me to another thing that we talked about with our software vendor today. If a child were to leave in the middle of February, they would get half of the benefit for February, so half of $81.84 if in the February amount would be issued to a child at the schools that are the first 5 lines of this spreadsheet. So we can help you with a total amount, but some of those might be tweaked depending on their enrollment start and end date. So next slide, payment information. No, ineligible schools. Ineligible schools will be found on the website under general information as soon as the website goes live when we get spending authority. And this is a list of the first few lines on there. What you see here is some schools that are highlighted. The whole district has some schools that qualify and some schools that do not. Make sure you're aware of what does and does not qualify. Okay, next slide. Payment information. So based on the short turnaround time, we're going to have you guys upload hopefully around May 14th. We're going to issue the payments in June, and DHW asks for about 3 to 4 weeks turnaround time, so they would be coming out to the families in July. And it is a FAQ, frequently asked question document available. It will be on the Idaho Department of Education website when we have spending authority. Next slide. The PEBT card will be a white card with black print sent to each eligible child in amount calculated by school. Each child's benefit may be different, and we will not be able to track spending from the card. That is outside of our scope right at the moment. So if you see these cards, remember you can't accept them as direct cert because it only qualifies a student as free or reduced. It's a PEBT card. You can never take a Quest card number or this card number as proof that the child is free. Just a reminder. Next slide. A family can decline benefits. I don't know how you would determine that in your upload, but they can decline it. So it could be as easy as you tell them when they get their card to just destroy it. After 365 days, if they don't use the card, Department of Health and Welfare does something called expungement, which I think it means zeroing it out. The other benefit rules, family cannot give their card away to someone, and they cannot donate their card to any organization. It is called welfare fraud. So make sure that they don't do that. If somebody were to say they wanted to do that, just let them know that they can decline the benefits. They just can't give it away or donate them. Okay, coming to the end. There are several rules regarding what purchases can be made with a PEBT card, and they're the same rules as SNAP, which is the food stamp card. The Department of Health and Welfare has a list of the items that can and cannot be purchased, and I have the link up there in this web page. And that should be it for my presentation. I am sorry that I go so fast, but I wanted to give you guys time to ask any questions that may have come up during the presentation. It is being recorded. A little late to tell you that now, sorry. But when we get the spending authority, we will have a copy of this on the website so that other people can listen to it as needed. So with that, I will open it up for questions.
Okay, so Linda, so far we have 3 questions. The first one is, what does it matter what their benefit issue is? Doesn't everybody get the same amount per meal?
Okay, so everybody gets the same amount daily per meal. However, depending on if you had a delayed start, if you were only operating 2 days a week, or a school is open 4 days and 1 day benefit. Every school in the state of Idaho is unique, so the benefit amounts are going to be different.
Okay, great. Thank you, Linda. Next question. If families fill out a free and reduced app now, do they have to fill out a new one for next year after July 1st?
Okay, the question is, if a family fills out a free and reduced application now, do they have to fill out another one after July 1st? And unfortunately, yes, they would have to do that. They're filling it out now to get the PEBT benefit for this school year. And after July 1st is the next school year, but I'm not going to get into the waivers that are out there. We're still asking questions on those.
Okay, next question. Will SFAs get a list by student of how benefits are calculated?
Will SFAs get a list by student of how benefits are calculated? No. You will get a list by school. You will not get a list by student. That is too much PII going around.
Okay, next question. When do you anticipate spending authority?
Great. Okay, next question is, when do we anticipate spending authority? No clue. Sorry. It's up to the House right at the moment, and they keep pushing our bill out. We've been on the reading calendar every day this week, and I think it's bill number 372. House Bill 372.
Okay, and so the question before was that you already answered, would they get a list by student, also added on a little bit later to that and what the benefits will be, but I believe you answered that question already. Okay, next question is, how do I know what schools in my district qualify, or do I wait until the list of ineligible is released?
Like I said, we will send out, when we get spending authority, we're going to send out 2 emails. One email to schools that don't qualify that says, I'm sorry you don't qualify, let your families know that they will get 0 benefit. And then we will send out a list individually to each school that lets you know by school building what the benefits will be. We will communicate and be fully transparent with you as to what the benefits are by school, total benefits. We can't go case by case with enrollment variations. This is just based on this attending a certain school for the entire year. Other than that, it's up to a formula.
Okay, great, Linda. Okay, next question. Is the school's eligibility based on open/closed/virtual dates data the school already has?
The state already has. The state already has.
The state already has. Excuse me.
Okay. Well, all right. I'm going to have to read this one.
It's this one up here. Is the school eligible?
Is the school's eligibility based on open, closed, virtual dates, data the state already has? That's why we asked for your calendars. We have calculated and double checked every school's calendar. That's why we asked you for an email sometime in March. So I calculated it. Kat and Heath double checked those dollar amounts, and we will send you a copy.
Okay, next question. Any verification families who did not respond would have to comply with the regulations under verification in order to be processed for a new eligibility, correct?
Okay, if you have free and reduced applications and you selected a family for verification and they did not complete the verification process per regulations, they do not qualify for PEBT. So I would follow up with those families immediately and tell them that they need to finish verification so they qualify for PEBT if your verification certifies them that they should have a free or reduced benefit. I'll put that in there.
Okay, so if we had a late start in our virtual every Monday and then in person Tuesday and Friday, will we qualify?
Okay, late starts and then in person Tuesday through Friday, but Monday virtual. Yes, you do qualify. You qualify for the late start. So, example, West Ada delayed their start 2 weeks before they started. And right now they're going Monday virtual, Tuesday through Friday in person. They get late start weeks, and anytime they were in and out the rest of the year, and virtual 1 day does qualify them.
Okay, next question. You said you will send this information to the schools, but will you send it to the SFA who will be fielding questions?
I will be I will be sending the information to the food service director of the school, of each SFA with the schools and the dollar amounts. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, next one. Will SNS supervisors also receive the list of eligible and ineligible schools?
SNS supervisors.
I think just.
Well, the list of ineligible schools will be posted onto our website. We will send out the list of eligible schools when we get spending authority, and whoever the food service director is can feel free to send it to any of their staff at the school food authority or the school district.
Okay, next question. We had AM PM split schedule for half students in each session. Does this qualify?
Okay, so AM PM. So we've had 2 schools where some of the students came in the morning, some of the students came in the afternoon, and we did calculate. We did half of a daily benefit for both of the students, and I'm looking at Heath, and he's nodding in agreement with me. We did have 2 school districts that did that, and yes, you're getting a benefit, but it's not going to be the full daily amount because we made the assumption that they got at least 1 meal at school each day.
Okay, at this time, oh wait, we just got one more question. Could you email the websites with the information? It went too fast to write them down.
Okay, can I email the website with the information? It will be posted on the State Department of Education Child Nutrition website. As soon as we have spending authority, it will go live up there. Because we don't have spending authority right at the moment, and I don't know, I mean, if we get it or don't get it, depends on whether we will put it up there or not. We will send out a broadcast email as soon as the website does go live.
Okay, one more question. What about kindergarten? Will they get benefits?
What about kindergarten? Will they get benefits? If they were in the school and the school qualifies, any student in the school will get benefits. They will get it based on the school's predominant learning model, and they have to be enrolled in the school. So they will get the benefits.
Okay, at this time, that's all the questions that we have. So
we have no other questions. We'll give it a minute. I really appreciate everybody taking their time out to hear about PEBT and what's expected coming up.
Still don't have anything.
And I will give you back 20 minutes of your time. So thank you very much for all that you're doing to get PEBT going for the students out there.
Says thank you. That was very helpful.
All right, that will conclude our webinar for today. Thank you very much.
Good job, Lex.